Let's get started. And everybody is on mute, so if you have any questions, please type those in the chat feature. We will definitely be able to answer everybody's questions as we go, and at the end, we'll save time for Q&A. So here's a little bit about MEFA. For those of you who are new to working with MEFA, from across the nation, all of our Massachusetts schools are very familiar with MEFA, but we're working with a lot of new schools these days in other parts of the country. So we just want to welcome you to the MEFA family, and we are a non-for-profit state authority. We've been around since 1982, so we have a lot of experience in education financing. We also offer college savings plans and education and guidance, which I'll talk about in a second. But our nonprofit mission really is the crux of what we do. So you should, and everybody, I just want to do a quick sound check. I'm getting a note that somebody can't hear me, but if somebody could just send me a quick chat. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me before I keep going. Okay, so I think for those of you who, if you can't hear me, you might have your phone on mute or have to adjust your audio settings. So we'll keep going. So my name is Stephanie, and I've been at MEFA. It'll be 20 years in March, so it's been a while, and I'm Associate Director of College Planning here at MEFA. And so I do a lot of work with the colleges. Myself and my colleague, Dorina Barreto, who's also on the webinar, we are part of MEFA's College Relations team. So we're the folks that you're working with very frequently through email and through phone. But we have a whole team of folks at MEFA on our college planning team that can also assist colleges. And many of you have probably also worked with my colleague Meg Villavicencio, who we're going to hear from in a minute. So we have a big team of folks here at MEFA who can help you with all of your loan-related matters. But in addition to helping colleges and working with college relations, I also do a lot of outreach for families, provide a lot of guidance, one-on-one counseling. We'll be doing tons of webinars this fall for financial aid nights. Literally every night, every day, Monday through Thursday, from end of September through November, we'll be doing webinars for families on financial aid. So we do a lot of great work at MEFA. So here's what we're going to talk about today. Just want to review our interest rate changes for this year that went into effect a couple months ago. We're really excited to be able to lower the rates, which I'll highlight. Want to show you some of our online tools and guidance that we provide for families if you want to point them in that direction, if they need assistance or if they have questions about the MEFA loan. We'll talk about our loan certification options, the MEFA web portal, and ELM. And we are going to add a little bit to the webinar today to talk about loan refunds and reductions. So this is a crazy year for everybody, and lots of things are changing every day, it seems. So there's going to be probably a lot more loan reductions and loan changes and refunds this year because of changes on the school side where students might be going online versus hybrid. There might be reduction in costs, or they might not be using room and board costs anymore. So there's going to be a lot more changes this year than normal, and we have been guiding families about how to do that. We're really trying to help families make decisions on what they need before the loan money is dispersed so that you don't have to work on loan refunds. But we'll talk about that. And then Meg is going to provide a quick demo of our loan certification portal for those of you who are fairly new to using it. And then we'll have plenty of time for Q&A. And as I mentioned, we have Karen here from ELM who can answer all of the ELM technical questions. So here you can see our undergraduate loan rates for MEFA. So the lowest rate would be starting at 3.75% for a 10-year immediate repayment. And we have 5 different loan options for undergraduate students. So if you're setting MEFA up in your system, we have a great little chart that has the loan codes and lender codes for all of these products that you can use to set us up in your system. So you can see that our rates start low, 3.75, all the way up to 5.75, all based on credit scores and the interest, the repayment options that families choose. No fees on the MEFA loan. We got rid of fees last year, which was really exciting for us. And I was really pleased that we were able to reduce all of our interest rates this year. In the economic environment that we're in, to be able to do that was really, really exciting for me, because I know that families need those lower rates if they do need to borrow. And we are cautioning families about over borrowing this year. You know, with the economic environment that we're in, who knows when things are going to change and improve. So we do want families and students to take advantage of their federal student loans first. We have had a few calls from schools where students might want to take the MEFA loan instead of their undergraduate federal direct loan, and we don't recommend that. So feel free to have them call us and we can guide them through that process. The MEFA loan really is if families need it after they've used all of their financial aid and all of their undergraduate federal direct student loans. So we do want to make that clear, because we have a lot of new schools. So want to make sure that you understand how we're guiding families, and that we do recommend that federal direct student loan first. So we do have a number of options for families. If they want a 15-year loan instead of a 10-year loan to bring that payment down, we can do that. We also have interest only and deferred options. And the rates go up the further that the family pushes out repayment. The other thing I also want to mention for the undergraduate loan is that it is a family loan, so the student is a co-borrower on the loan. Anybody who signs the promissory note has equal responsibility for that loan. When we talk about ELM processing, we'll make sure that you understand that the MEFA loan, even though it's a family loan and the student is on the loan, it should be treated as a parent loan for ELM processing. So we'll talk about that in a minute and get a little bit more into those details with Karen. But even though it says undergraduate loan, it doesn't say parent loan, because it technically is a family loan. But for processing in ELM, you'll want to make sure you process it as a parent loan. Then we also have a graduate loan program as well. We have interest only and deferred options. There's a maximum of a 3-year deferment on this loan. So this is great for MBA students, graduate students, law students. A medical or dental student probably wouldn't want to use this loan because the deferment period wouldn't suit their needs. But it is good for, you know, your typical graduate programs. And as you can see, the rates are pretty low. Most of them lower than even the graduate plus loan. So that's a good option. Both loans are no fee loans. And the graduate loan is a great loan if students want to take it out. They don't even need a cosigner as long as they have established credit. So I mentioned a little bit about MEFA's approach in our guidance that we provide for families. I won't read you all these bullets. You do have a copy of this PowerPoint in your handout section of the little sidebar you have there, the toolbox, so you can download that. And we do tons of outreach across the Commonwealth. Obviously, nothing is done in person these days. But we provide not only programs for families about savings and early college planning, loan programs. We offer tons of financial aid nights each year, webinars on admissions, as well as in the spring of senior year, we have a great program called After the College Acceptance that helps families bridge the gap between getting their financial aid award and getting their bill and trying to figure out a strategy. And we also do one-on-one appointments with families. If they need a little bit of extra attention, we can do that. So even though we're not physically out in the community, we are really going gangbusters with all of our virtual programming. Phone calls, emails, families can reach out to us any way they need to, and we're here to help them. So that really is what we're here to do, is to help families and educate them. So send them our way if anybody needs help. Excuse me, my allergies are kicking up right before I got on this webinar. We also have a MEFA refinancing loan if families need resources there. In addition to the programs for families, we also offer training for school counselors as well as college administrators, like this one that we're on right now. And we do have an email curriculum for college administrators, so you might see us sending out emails here and there as well. So this is our loan payment calculator, and this is, I'm just gonna click right in here and do a quick demo for you. I love this tool, and you can use this tool with families or point them in this direction. I really use this to help families with you know, kind of making sure they don't borrow too much, really kind of getting their expectations in order about how much the loan is going to actually cost. So let me get to that right here. It's down here. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to put in $20,000, which is a typical loan amount. For a freshman, I'll put in 4 years before graduation. So everybody should be able to see the loan calculator here. And families can decide, you know, when they're using this, do they fair, good, excellent credit? It's not, it'll just give them a general idea what they're looking at for rates and terms and loan payments. I'll just use good because that's kind of right in the middle where a lot of people fall. And when they actually apply, that's when they'll know what their exact interest rate is on the different repayment options and what their exact monthly payment is based on what they're choosing. So this is just a quick example. You can see the 10-year loan is going to have a little bit higher payment, but I really most of the time skip right to the third line that shows the total cost of the loan, because we want families to see, you know, you might be borrowing $20,000, but if you make your minimum payments, it's going to cost you over $25,000 to borrow that loan. This tool is particularly helpful with students who might have a cosigner but are planning on taking on this debt. And, you know, we want to let them know, are you able to handle $211 a month times 4 if you're borrowing for 4 years, plus your undergraduate student loans at about $300 a month. We really want them to understand what they're getting themselves into before they even apply. So this is a great tool to go through the options. I use this when counseling families all the time. So this is a great tool to use. And feel free, if you guys have any questions, to just type those in the chat feature and we'll stop for questions as well. So MEFA loan certification options. We are no longer doing FACT certifications because of COVID. We're working remotely. You can see them in my living room. We're all working remotely. We're no longer doing FACT certifications. And we don't have a secure process to do email certifications either. So really the two options to certify MEFA loans are our secure, very easy to use online web portal, or ELM. In some ELM schools are doing a little bit in the MEFA portal. If they want to certify there and then process their payments through ELM, you could do that too. But we just want to let you know what those options are. So in order to create a MEFA loan account, it's right there. We have a college administrator page. And I'll just pull it up real quick so you can see what's on here. So this is our college administrator tab. And we are constantly updating this. You can see our new procedures for COVID. I'm going to refer to an EFT transmittal, refund transmittal form in a bit. So that's right here as well as our online certification options. So if you need to add new users, you can just click right there. If somebody in your office is leaving or doesn't need to certify but just wants to view loans, you can modify user access here. There's FAQs, which do have a lot of information in there, so feel free to check those out. And then we also have ELM, which we're going to talk about. And there is a whole bunch of FAQs on here as well. If you just click this little blue here button, for sake of time, I won't go through all of them, but you can see we have a whole bunch of Q&As here for college administrators that should answer most of your questions. But we are always here to help with questions, email, phone, whatever you need, just let us know. For those of you who are new to working with MEFA and who are certifying via ELM, we have the 4 different items that you're certifying on listed here. That's important for everybody to know. Because when you're certifying through the MEFA portal, you're signing off on all of these items. You see this right before you press submit. Through the ELM platform, we just want you to know that you do need to make sure that the loan they're certifying the loan for cost of attendance minus aid. The loan cannot be more than that amount. So you're certifying that. You're also certifying that the student is enrolled at least half time, whatever you consider half time, in a degree granting program. So you can't use the MEFA loan for certificate programs. and they're making satisfactory academic progress as defined by your institution. So that we've had a few questions lately about SAP and what the criteria is, and it really is what is your criteria for SAP and whether the student is meeting that. And if they're not, you can cancel the loan and withdraw it. That's not a problem, easy to do. And also that the student and any co-borrowers, the best of your knowledge, have not defaulted on an education loan. So that's important as well. We don't want folks taking on more debt if they're already, experiencing some financial difficulties and have been in default. And they need to make sure that they're not in arrears for more than $100 for the previous year. Another quick question we usually get about past due amounts and past due loans. You can see everything's right down here. We have MEFA Loan eligibility. This is also on the family page when they apply, so they do get this information. And the family and the borrowers need to be U.S. citizens or permanent residents. So we do recommend that you set yourself up for online electronic disbursements. We're happy to send checks if that's what you want us to do. But with today's remote environment, a lot of people aren't in the office very often, if at all. So EFT disbursements seem to be the way that everybody's headed these days. No checks getting lost in the mail. And the nice thing about EFT disbursements is you'll get your money the day that the disbursement is processed. You don't have to wait for that paper check. And so that wire transfer form is also on the college certify page, that college admin page that I just showed you. And you can always email us at mefacertify@mefa.org. That's our dedicated college administrator email address. You can answer all your questions there. And if you want to do EFT refunds, I showed you how to access that form as well. But if you forget what I just showed you and you don't remember what's on the website, that's not a problem. Just call us or email us and we can send it to you. And we did join ELM, as I mentioned, on July 15th. So if you are using ELM and you prefer to process your MEFA loans through ELM, go ahead and do that. Couple of things that I just want to mention about processing via ELM, which is a little bit different than in the regular web portal, is that I mentioned earlier, you do want to process the MEFA loans as a parent loan, because on our end, the primary borrower that we have in our system is the co-borrower, the credit-worthy co-borrower, not the student. So we do want to make sure that you're processing it as a parent loan so that the co-borrower information will be in that correct field. If you didn't certify it that way, there is an error report on our end that we are able to fix those changes, but that just delays the process. So if you can certify it as a parent loan, it will just go through smooth sailing. We are able to correct those issues. The other thing you'll want to make sure that you do when you're certifying on ELM, you do have to certify in our portal the cost of attendance and the family's financial aid amount. That's part of our requirements as a nonprofit lender. So you will have to fill out those fields in ELM, or set it up in your system to feed it through ELM. If we don't receive that cost of attendance and financial aid, it will error out on the ELM side and we'll be contacting you to get that information. Unfortunately, right now, there's no way for you as a school to update that after certification. So that's just another one of those little things that we're working through and we can easily fix, but it might delay things a little bit. So we just want to give you a heads up about that as well. And so I just got a quick question about Scholarnet, and I'm glad that somebody had asked me about that because we get that question a lot, especially now that we're using ELM. So we have explored using Scholarnet. We have had conversations with them. It is something that we'd like to be able to do in the future to provide more options for certification. But with peak season upon us right now, we're just not in a position to take on that new platform. But we are having conversations with them. We are exploring that option. So it might be something we can do in the future. So for those of you who are using Scholarnet, if you would please just sign up for our online portal if you haven't already. Just in the meantime, until we're able to process through your preferred method in Scholarnet, that really is the only solution right now because we aren't able to process through Scholarnet. But thank you for that question. We get it frequently, especially now that we're a national lender. We're working with schools all over the country. So we're getting lots of requests for that, just like we were getting tons of requests to process through Elm. So we're able to use Elm now, and that will be our next step at some point, hopefully in the future. So feel free to keep those questions coming. And just a little bit of additional, I might have mentioned a few of these, but these are the 4 statements that I showed you on our website that you're certifying when you're certifying in Elm, when you're certifying the web portal, that the student is not borrowing more than cost minus aid, they're enrolled at least half-time, degree granting, program, making SAP, and they haven't defaulted on any education loans. They don't have a large amount of money in arrears that they're owing you more than $100. So those are the requirements to certify a MEFA loan that the families need to be receiving. Just one second here. Got to plug in my battery. There we go. Okay, so just a couple quick bullet points that I just wanted to run through about loan reductions and refunds. As I mentioned earlier, we are reassuring families, call us if you want to reduce your loan. They're not charged any interest on any monies that are not sent to the school. Even if the disbursement does go out, if the school sends us back the refund, then we can reverse interest on that refund. So families should feel comfortable that, you know, if things should change, which they likely will this year because it's been so crazy, that we can work with them. We don't want them to take out money that they don't need or be charged interest on money they're not using. So it really is important that if we do get a refund, that it comes from the school, either electronically or by check. You can also do it through Elm and Yen, however you prefer. But in order to reverse that interest, we do need to receive the refund from the school. So rest assured we can do that. Of course, it's easier for the colleges as well as on our end if we can reduce the loan prior to the monies being dispersed. So you can move funds to the spring disbursement if they're not sure they want to reduce the loan altogether. Or just reduce the fall semester and see what happens in the spring. We do have families who are applying for separate loans for fall and spring. They can do that, but it's still very easy to just apply for the full year and reduce the loan later. They're only going to be paying on what is actually dispersed. So again, send us the refunds. Electronic refund is obviously easiest, but if you do want to send by check, that's not a problem. We do have somebody going into the office once a week to get the mail and process loan refunds, so you can send that to us. The address is right here at 60 State Street. And just write attention loan refunds so it's easy to identify. So right now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Meg. So let me just hand over the steering wheel real quick. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Meg, I think that you should be able to have the steering wheel.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah, and we can see your screen. Great, thank you.
You can see my screen. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Stephanie, and hello, everyone. We'll go ahead and jump right in so we can have time for questions, as Stephanie mentioned. So Stephanie went over how you would get access for the portal. So now we'll just jump right into what you see in the portal. So here we are. This is the kind of the home page of the portal. You have your options: certify loans, loan status report, or disbursement roster. We'll just go ahead and go into certify a loan. So you can certify right off of this main page, the certify list, by clicking on the little button on the left column here, or you can go into the record detail where you'll just get a little more information about the loan. So either way is fine, whatever you prefer. So let's see, I'll just wait for the record to pull up. One more thing, if you're certifying off of the list, you can put in, loan periods, cost of attendance, and disbursement dates that will carry across all the certifications that you're doing. So here is the loan detail. So we can go ahead and complete this certification. We'll just input the required fields. And as you see, it's very straightforward. There aren't many fields that you need here. As Stephanie mentioned, in the portal, you do need to put in cost of attendance and financial aid, which you will also need to do in ELM if you're certifying in ELM. So then we would just go ahead and choose our disbursement dates. Right here, you can change them around. You can also add a disbursement down here if you wanted to. And then once you put in the information here, you would click continue. And this is where you get a kind of confirmation. And as Stephanie mentioned, when you're certifying in our portal, here are the 4 points that she went over. You see them here that you're authorizing this, when you hit submit. And these would be the same things you'd be certifying in ELM. So once you go ahead and hit submit, the record will process. Once it's done, it will give us a little indication that it's been certified. You see right here, the loan was processed successfully. So now I think a lot of questions are coming up now that a lot of loans have been certified about if you can make changes once they're certified. So let's just look at that quickly. You can search for a student by the SSN or by the application ID. So I'll put in the application ID of the one we just certified. Oh, and you know what? Bear with me. This hit an application review. So let me just go ahead and clear that. This is a test environment. So I just wanted to, give me a minute while this pulls up, but I just wanted to show you that you can, once the loan's been certified, up until the first disbursement happens, you can go ahead and make any changes to the amount. As Stephanie was mentioning, if you need to reduce the amount, if you need to change the disbursement dates or add a disbursement, take away a disbursement, you can make all those changes. Let me just see if I can clear this quickly so that I can show you this in the school portal. Okay, so let's just wait for that to clear. And then also while we wait for that, once the loan is partially dispersed, you're still able to go in and make any changes to the second disbursement or any remaining disbursements. So let's see if we can pull this up here. Okay, so here we are. It's approved for disbursement. If you needed to come in, you can see that all these fields, you can still go back and edit them. Maybe something's changed and now they only want, the 20,000. Oops. You could go ahead and do that and submit it, and that would all take. And then the same thing after if the first disbursement had gone out, you can make changes to the second disbursement. So one of the questions we're getting a lot now is, can you initiate refunds through the school portal? And you can't. As Stephanie mentioned, you can send for loans that are dispersed directly by MEFA versus the NDN. You can send a refund either electronically or by check. And once MEFA receives the money, the funds, we will go in, process the refund, and make updates in the portal so that you'll see it reflected in the portal. But you don't need to do anything in the portal to initiate the refund. Now, if you're certifying an ELM dispersing through the NDN, you can initiate that refund in ELM or the NDN. So we'll just go back to the main menu quickly. The other options on the main menu are the loan status report. So we know that we've heard that schools use this. You can put different filters on. If you wanted to find all loans, say you want to find all loans that are partially dispersed or withdrawn or fully dispersed or whatever it is, you can do different filters. And then, of course, the disbursement roster. If you're getting disbursements directly from MEFA, you'll be set up to be notified via email when there's a disbursement roster ready to download. And you can go in here, put in the date range that you're looking for, and then you can pull down the, well, I guess nothing was found then. You'd be able to pull down the disbursement roster into Excel. So that's pretty much it for the portal. I know we want to save time for questions. So if we have any questions and we want to look at anything else.
Meg, can you also show how to cancel a loan? Because we had a few new users where, you know, the student's not making SAP and they need to cancel the loan. It's very easy. Can you show how to do that as well?
Yep. So let's see. Oops, I put in the wrong. Bear with me here. So there's this little button over here. You would just click this and you can submit it and the loan will be canceled. Stephanie, any other questions or things, you know, things that people would want to see, or should we go ahead and take questions?
Yes, if everybody wants to just type in your questions, I am going to take the
I'll take the control.
the wheel back.
Yep. Yep.
If you want to give me back, I think you have to give me back the wheel.
I think I just did. Did you get it? Actually, here you go.
Yeah, and then Karen, if you want to take yourself off mute, Karen from Elm. Let me just see if I can unmute you. If you have anything to add, Karen, feel free. We can.
I'm here, and yeah, thank you for inviting me. I don't have anything to add. You guys always do a great job. So, but I'm here for questions if you need anything.
Thank you. And in past webinars, we have needed you for questions, so I'm glad you're here. We do have a small group today because we just sent the email out yesterday. So I'm just going to leave it open. If anybody has questions, just type those in the chat feature. I am going to try. I created a little poll that I'm going to try launching. I've never done a poll before. So let's see how this works. If you look, there should be a poll. If you guys want to just answer the poll for me. The question is, what are your school's plans for classes this fall? So if you want to just click on whether you're going to be in person only, a hybrid, or everything online. I thought it would be fun to find out what everybody's doing. And then I can share this with our senior management too, because they really are wanting to know what's going on campus, how are schools doing, what's going on. So I can share this information as well. But I don't see any questions right now, so I'll just leave it open for another minute. I know we're right at the 12:34 mark, so I know folks have to get back to work, but we'll just leave it open for another minute. If you guys wouldn't mind just clicking on the poll. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see the results.
I don't think we can, Stephanie.
No, okay. Well, I will tell you, not everybody has voted yet, but we have 89% are hybrid of in-person and online, and 11% are in all classes online, and 0% are all classes in person on campus. So interesting. But yeah, feel free to type in your answers there. And if nobody has any questions, we'll end the webinar in a second. I also just want to reiterate our phone number is here. If you press option 4, that'll bring you right to our college administrator hotline. And our email address, mifacertify@mifa.org, is the best way to reach us. We have a whole team working on that. And I want to thank everybody for helping us with our poll. And let's see. I think it's closed now. I've never done a poll, so forgive me if I'm a little new to this. I thought it might be fun to try. So, all right, I don't see any questions coming in, but I will share this webinar with everybody afterwards. And I want to thank everybody for coming today. Thank you, Karen, for joining us. Thank you, Meg, for the demo. And feel free to reach out to us and have a good semester, whatever this semester brings everybody. Have a great day. Thank you so much for joining us.